right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, a manhunt for a group of escaped inmates.
5 people all at once. That's kind of crazy.
They broke out of a Missouri jail 24 hours ago, where police think they could be tonight, unclogging a vital artery into downtown St. Louis. Tonight, the public weighs in on plans to improve the Interstate 64 corridor.
The rain has moved out, but the ground is soggy. How much rain fell and the changes coming over the next few days.
First, we're following breaking news out of Central Illinois. Tonight, a union official tells 5 on Your Side 18 prison workers were rushed to the hospital after being exposed to a substance that made them sick. It happened at the Graham Correctional Center in Hillsborough, Illinois. That's about an hour and 15 minutes from St. Louis. According to the AFS-CME labor union, workers were tending to an inmate in distress when they began experiencing nausea and lightheadedness. We're told all of the workers are doing fine at this hour. Some are being held for observation. Within the past hour, we talked with a union leader.
You don't want to see anybody who is hurt at work. And we want the Department of Corrections to be more vigilant, more proactive, to take the steps to protect employees.
Now, tonight, we reached out multiple times to the Department of Corrections to confirm the union's account and to find out what, if any, substance those prison workers may have been exposed to. We're still waiting for a response. It's now been more than 24 hours since 5 inmates bolted out of a Missouri jail, and tonight, they're still on the run. The inmates escaped from the St. Francis County Jail in Farmington. That's about an hour south of St. Louis. Our Robert Townsend is here now with new information. Robert?
Mike, tonight several law enforcement agencies are still looking for the jail escapees. Nervous neighbors just want their peace back.
That's scary that they're out here on the streets again.
Michelle Beasley is making sure her doors are locked and she's watching the news, keeping track of 5 inmates who took off from the St. Francis County Jail near her home around 7 Tuesday night.
Well, I got home right before it happened, within 10 minutes. And within that 10 minutes, the street was lined with cops.
The frantic mom worried especially about her daughter, who had just arrived home from a friend's house.
She was a little worried when she came home. She wanted me to keep one of the dogs in my bedroom, keep me safe.
The wanted inmates are Kelly McShawn, Dakota Pace, Aaron Sebastian, Lawan Tucker, and Michael Wilkins. Investigators say this video shows the men escaping from the county jail and making a fast getaway. 2 of the inmates can be seen rolling under the exit gate in the parking lot of Centene Corporation in Farmington Industrial Park. Sheriff's deputies say seconds later, the pair pulled up to the gate in a stolen dark gray 2009 Scion. The 3 other inmates then hopped in the vehicle. Some neighbors heard all the commotion.
It went on for hours, the sirens and the cars.
Investigators with the St. Francis County Sheriff's Office believe the 5 inmates accessed the detention center's roof through a plumbing chase. That's a section of the building that houses pipes and vents. Tucker, McShawn, and Sebastian were locked up after allegedly committing offenses at the Sex Offender Rehabilitation and Treatment Services in Farmington. McShawn is classified as a sexual predator.
It's scary. That's scary that they're out here on the streets again.
A worried Beasley says she won't rest until the escapees are back behind bars.
5 people all at once. That's kind of crazy.
Now, sources tell us 2 of the inmates may be heading to the St. Louis area. The U.S. Marshals Service is now offering a $2,500 to $5,000 reward in this case.
Robert, thanks. Well, tonight the rain has moved out and we're back to a January reality. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the Weather First forecast.
You know, Mike, we are talking temperatures that are trending down here over the next few days. We're still in the low 40s in St. Louis, still murky out there, make no mistake. But the widespread rain, that has lifted north and east of St. Louis right now, and it's left us kind of foggy and murky in the metro area. We're up to 43 degrees right now, much better than the snow farther to the north. That steadier, heavier batch of showers that we dealt with through the rush hour, long gone. But boy, did it leave the rain. We had areas east and south of St. Louis with 1 to 2 inches of rainfall out of the system during the day today. Most of the metro had a ½ an inch to an inch. While that rain is gone, the system isn't. It's going to swing back across the bi-state region, at least the backside of it. That means it's dry and breezy overnight and windy and chilly on Thursday. If we see any clearing overnight around St. Louis and points to the west and southwest, that will quickly fill in with the clouds tomorrow with those chances for flurries and sprinkles along with the gusty winds. We'll talk about the weekend in a few minutes.
Okay, Scott. Major improvements are on the way for I-64. In a few years, this stretch from Jefferson to Kings Highway could look very different. Tonight, MoDOT held an open house to discuss plans, and 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski was there. She joins us live and tells us about where those changes might be made. Laura.
Mike, travelers were presented 3 different options to improve I-64 along Jefferson to Kings Highway. Now, they were able to submit public comments tonight about these 3 options, whether they were walkers, bikers, drivers, or even taking public transportation.
This is still the decision-making process about what the final product should look like.
MoDOT St. Louis area engineer Jen Wade says in this stretch of I-64, there are 13 bridges that need major repairs or replaced altogether.
So on this corridor, we have different variations of timing for some of the bridges, but all of them need some investment. When we added those up, it ended up being a really big investment. So that was really one of the big impetuses for us to look at this corridor.
Wade says they also want to make this stretch of the highway safer. One way would be widening the shoulders.
That's always a big boost for safety as well as reliability, but also looking at just rearranging where the ramps meet with our network. We have a pretty non-intuitive design right now.
Jade Lane says as a commuter, this would impact her drive significantly, particularly at Grand and Forest Park.
They want to make it a surface intersection, and they already did that at Kings Highway, and it hasn't slowed down traffic at all. And I think there's a better way to do it than a surface interchange, but also the interchange there right now is very poor.
Enrique Riojas is a SLU student who rides his bike, walks, and uses public transportation. He's hoping for bicycle-friendly improvements.
But alternative number 2 has very nice dedicated lanes across the entirety of the planned area, and with connections to train stations here at Cortex, which would be lovely, you know? It's the plan that I've seen that has the most emphasis on the commuter rail, because like I can bike downtown, but I can't go to Maplewood on my bike.
Now, there is a website dedicated to this project called Future I-64. It has an interactive map, and MoDOT really wants people who this affects to submit their comments online. We'll have a link to that on KSDK.com. Reporting live in St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, an Uber driver is recovering after being shot by a passenger. It happened this afternoon at an apartment complex in Hillsdale. According to police, the two got into an argument and the passenger shot the driver in the stomach. The driver returned fire. The passenger took off in the Uber. He was later arrested. Police tell us the driver is expected to recover. Tonight, we're still waiting to learn the identity of the driver shot and killed by police in Wentzville. Last night, officers tried to pull over a pickup truck driver for a tag violation in St. Peters. He didn't stop until hitting spike strips on I-70 near Wentzville Parkway. That's when police say the man pointed a gun at officers who shot and killed him. A woman inside the truck was arrested. Searching for a leader. Tonight, the public got an opportunity to meet the 3 finalists for superintendent of the Normandy Schools Collaborative. New tonight, our Brent Solomon has more on the candidates and their vision for the district.
It's designed to be a collaborative process. The parents working with the community, working with the school district to find the right superintendent.
It's a meeting of the minds, a room full of people who want Normandy Schools Collaborative to make the right choice.
Definitely, that's why I'm here.
Damian Montgomery has 3 children in the district.
So I have to know beforehand, based on what they're saying, you know what I mean, to kind of hold them to that, and then on top of that, be a part of that.
So what are school leaders looking for?
Experience, charisma, leadership, and a combination of other strengths, and ultimately select someone to land the plane on a destination that's going to make Normandy great.
Here's who they narrowed it down to.
Because I am ready to continue the work that's already being done.
Howard Field, Superintendent of Human Resources for the Kirkwood School District.
And I'm here chasing my impact because I know that I can make a positive impact.
Bruce Green, Director of Secondary Education for the Rittener School District.
We have to make sure our curriculum meets our students' needs, right?
And Michael Triplett, Assistant Superintendent of Operations for the Olathe School District in Kansas, each making promises to turn things around. Last June, former Superintendent Marcus Robinson stepped down. Some community leaders and parents raised concerns he wasn't certified as a superintendent in the state. Now, Normandy is trying to get full accreditation back.
That's something that I'm concerned that thing could get back on the right track. I think they got a good choice to pick from the three.
The community will be watching to see how it all comes together. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
The governing board is planning to meet next Wednesday. At that time, we're learning members may select the next superintendent. Tonight, a showdown on Capitol Hill with the U.S. just hours from hitting the debt ceiling.
Let's start paying this debt off.
We're going to defend the economy. We're not going to let it be held hostage.
Tonight, our Verify team breaks down how this economic battle impacts you, helping working moms make ends meet. The free program putting women on the fast track to higher paying jobs.
While it was all rain for us today, this has been an impressive winter storm to our north and west, and strong storms have been tracking to our south. We are tracking the changes heading our way for the weekend.
A live look at the U.S. Capitol tonight. We're just hours away from hitting the debt ceiling. And tonight, House Republicans and the Biden administration remain at a stalemate. A vocal contingent of Republicans have said they will refuse to vote for a debt limit increase without certain spending cuts. So what happens if a deal is not reached? Abby Larico from our Verify team with how this all impacts you.
The U.S. began the day already $31.3 trillion in debt, according to the Treasury Department, and that's inching closer to the debt ceiling of about $31.4 trillion, the highest amount of debt the federal government can legally accumulate. We turn to a number of sources to answer the big questions, like first, why do we even have a debt ceiling? The Committee for a Responsible Budget explains the debt ceiling, or debt limit, was established during World War I as a way to make borrowing money easier and more flexible, and Congress has raised that limit many times since then. What happens when the U.S. reaches its debt limit? The debt can't rise past the ceiling, no more borrowing, so the federal government can only spend money it has on hand to pay for its obligations. In her letter to Congress, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen also warns the Treasury, quote, will need to start taking certain extraordinary measures to prevent the United States from defaulting. So what if we do default? Well, we can only speculate because, as the White House explains, the U.S. has never intentionally defaulted after not raising the debt ceiling, but warns of widespread economic fallout if it does. This Treasury Department report further explains, quote, credit markets could freeze, the value of the dollar could plummet, U.S. interest rates could skyrocket, the negative spillovers could reverberate around the world, and there might be a financial crisis and recession as a result of default. The report examines the last time we teetered on the edge of default back in 2011. Though Congress eventually did raise the debt ceiling, we came so close to the brink that the U.S. credit rating was downgraded. Job growth slowed, the stock market fell, and financial markets were overall stressed for months. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
What would you like us to verify? Just send an email to verify@ksdk.com. Tonight, we're awaiting a decision from an Illinois judge on whether he'll issue a temporary restraining order on the state's new law banning assault weapons. An emergency hearing was held today. More than 800 plaintiffs have filed a lawsuit claiming the ban is unconstitutional. If the order is granted, the sale and purchase of assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines can resume while the matter plays out in the courts. The judge expects to make a decision by Friday. Well, the pandemic is still taking a toll on women in the workplace. Women are struggling more with job stress and burnout now more than ever before. And current trends suggest it's not going to get any better. In tonight's Making Ends Meet, Michelle Lee takes a look at a new program aiming to buck those trends.
The data is in and the disparities are glaring. Women face greater job loss than men, a pattern that continued into 2022. Take a look. 11.5 million women lost jobs compared to 9 million men. Women also had higher overall stress, 10% higher than working men. And then women faced a larger increase in worker burnout. We're talking about 34% of women reported burnout compared to 26% in men. And those pressures are greater for working moms, according to multiple data collection agencies like the Pew Research Center. Working moms are more likely to say their lives have been disrupted a great deal by the crisis, more so than working women without children. And that is why one group, Rung for Women, is looking for new members who want to pivot and be put on a fast track to higher demand jobs and careers. This new program is focusing on tech and geospatial careers that pay, get this, an average of $85,000 a year. Geospatial jobs are in high demand because of our area's investment in NGA, or the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, right here in St. Louis. Rung for Women will provide training and direct connection to employers for free. The idea is to not only help women make ends meet, but help them actually upscale their lives, make a real living wage, and create room for wellness goals like vacations or even sending their kids to college.
We are really asking women to invest in themselves, to think about how they really change the trajectory of their careers, and most importantly, build wealth so that they can change the trajectory of their families.
And there's no cost to join as a member, but you do have to make $50,000 or less a year and commit to about 10 hours a week for 6 months. But Rung for Women says this could be a life-changing program, which is why they created it this year. So Rung for Women is taking applications for its next cohort. If you go online, you're going to scroll down to this yellow part right here. You're going to fill out an application and you'll go to like an interest session as well. But last time, 950 people applied for 100 open spots. Rung leaders say that's because they know the demand is there, because women want to change their lives. Back to you.
Tonight, a section of Interstate 70 in Colorado is closed after snowy conditions and low visibility led to a pileup crash outside of Denver. 9 semi-trucks and more than a dozen cars were involved. Only a couple of minor injuries were reported. Authorities say it will take until tomorrow morning to clear the area. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the Weather First forecast, starting to feel a little bit more like January.
It is. We're trending in that direction, but still warm enough where we had all rain today and tomorrow. Even if we see a couple of snowflakes, it won't amount to anything. You're looking up in North St. Louis County, still cloudy, still kind of murky out there. We're in the lower 40s. The heaviest rain went south and east of St. Louis, 1 to 2 inches, much more common here as you went from Oakville back down towards Sparta to Waterloo and heading south down into southeast Missouri. Even Centerville and Lesterville with more than an inch of rain. Most of us in the metro did not see quite that much, a half an inch to an inch. And here are a couple of birds John found out at the bird feeder today. The cardinal and apparently the downy woodpecker were having a bit of a conversation while chatting in the rain today. We have some rainfall totals for you, and in places it was pretty substantial. Dillon and Deloge had just over 2 inches. Centralia, Illinois, 1.68, an inch and a half in Waterloo, and almost an inch in Arnold and Lake St. Louis. So we definitely had the rain today. Officially at Lambert, you can see the clouds hugging the top of the arch right now, 43 degrees. That is our high for the day so far. We've had 61/100ths of an inch of rain officially at Lambert. We're getting a break from the winds right now because the part of the storm system is right on top of us. The winter weather to the north, the stronger storms to the south. We actually have some drier air in southwest Missouri down towards the Lake of the Ozarks has tended to clear out right now. We may see a little clearing later tonight. These storms down in Mississippi are still strong. There'll be a severe weather threat farther east and south going through the overnight into tomorrow. That is, you look back to the north and west, this is a mess. Traffic has just been snarled. Interstate 80 also closed over parts of Nebraska. Going north through Iowa has been rough. Tomorrow morning, we may have a little sunshine. It doesn't last. The wraparound moisture from the system slides in. As those clouds roll over, they might produce a sprinkle or a flurry. But again, temperatures stay above freezing. We have morning highs in the 40s, and then we'll drop back into the 30s heading through the late afternoon and into the evening hours. The other thing tomorrow we've got to deal with, gusty winds. We're thinking winds will be gusting 35 to 40 miles per hour once or twice in a lot of spots, and then they'll start to settle down some as we head into Friday. Saturday into Sunday, there's another system coming our way. At this point, it's a bit colder. That means at least we have a chance for some snowflakes to be mixed in with that rain. But once again, temperatures are a little on the warm side for that to have a big impact on St. Louis, as well as the fact that the amount of moisture with it is just flat out limited. And that may be the limiting factor as we head towards Tuesday night and Wednesday next week. It does trend colder, but the moisture is not very plentiful. So anything we see for the next few days, very much on the light side coming out of the sky.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we'll hear from the Cardinals shortstop of the future, the City SC goalie of the present, and SLU and Mizzou provided a lot of fun on the hardwood tonight. Stick around.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
I don't know what will unfold for Mizzou basketball this season. They aren't perfect, but man, are they fun to watch. If you're a recruit and you are seeing this style, you simply say, where do I sign? Arkansas came to Columbia tonight. The game was sold out, and it will be sold out for the rest of the season. And defense results in a dunk for Kobe Brown. That's why this building was rocking all night long. Arkansas is a first-round pick, Anthony Black. Here's why. Look at that. The issue, though, so they are just a couple of Jesuit schools 5 hours away. They started the rivalry over 100 years ago. Now, in 1990, when SLU went to Loyola Chicago, Anthony Bonner had 45 points and 20 rebounds. He said, when you go to Michael Jordan's town, you get the fever. Sincere Parker had the fever in the first half. Left side three, he drains it. Seconds later, same spot, same result. He had 13 in the first half. Even 103-year-old Sister Jean could not stop the Billikens tonight. They dominated the second half. Yuri Collins steal and one of his 6 assists to Javon Pickett. Then it's Javante Perkins pulling a Roberta Flack, killing you softly with the mid-range game. He had 18 points. SLU will slam themselves to a 76-59 victory. They're 5-1 in the conference. So we are just 25 days away from spring training. Now, because of the World Baseball Classic, some of the Cardinals starters will leave for 3 weeks. One of those is shortstop Tommy Edman, who's playing for Korea. So that means Mason Wynn will get some reps at shortstop. He has the best arm of any shortstop in the organization. Plus, he has speed and can hit with some pop. He's likely a year away from the big leagues, but when he gets here, he will stay. Right now, Mason is looking to add to his toolbox.
I think if I gain weight, I'll probably get a little bit more thump. I think I could get a little bit more, a few more home runs would be nice. I'm trying not to, I don't want to overdo it. I'd like to keep my speed, and I'd like to be that guy. I'd like to be the guy that gets on base for the Jordan Walkers, for the Goldsmiths to hit me in. So, it's a big part, but I think the biggest thing for me is probably just really affect my hitting, just power potential.
Great timing for City SC with this weather. They're leaving tomorrow for Fort Lauderdale for 11 days. They will practice and play 3 friendlies. They feel like they could have the best goalie in the MLS in Roman Berkey, who played in the Champions League and in the World Cup. Berkey loves American sports and fell in love with the town by going to a hockey game.
It's really nice to see an NHL game, and just the whole city looked like they are excited about the sports. After the game, we went to a restaurant or to a bar. I don't know the name, but everyone was wearing like a blues shirt or whatever. So it's really exciting to see that the whole city is celebrating the sports here.
He loves the Blues. Jordan Kyrou is his favorite player. He's gonna love the Cardinals. He plays fantasy football. One of the reasons he came here is because he loves American sports. And man, is this guy has an incredible resume too.
All right, we will look forward to rooting for him.
Yep.
Frank, thanks. It's a St. Louis favorite known for hot dogs. Now it's grilling up a childhood favorite. The winning ticket for last week's $1.3 billion Mega Millions jackpot was not sold in the Show Me State. But Missouri students are big winners anyway. According to the Missouri Lottery, the 3-month jackpot run generated more than $12 million for elementary, secondary, and higher education programs in the state. DoorDash will soon start delivering from Starbucks. The service should roll out nationwide by March. Starbucks says it will use stickers on drinks and delivery-specific cup holders to help avoid spills. Steve's Hot Dogs is now cooking up some comfort food. Steve's Meltdown opened a ghost kitchen today at the South Grand location, serving a rotating menu of 5 grilled cheese sandwiches with a twist. Orders can be made online or through Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. If you live outside the delivery zone, you can pick it up in person. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow. We'll see you then.